You can drink something, Coach Bryant. We're live, Coach Bryant. Coach Bryant. Oh, I got an attitude. We live, Coach Bryant. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Hit the Heels. It is 9:00 Wednesday night. Ooh, we got a lot to talk about. So we did not have a guest tonight because we just got a lot to talk about. But I did send the link out to a couple people in the event that they want to come on and do a cameo. You can. Matter of fact, I'm going to send it to somebody else.
Well, if you do, what's up, people? So if you do, please come on. It's a topic that you want to communicate. You can type it in.
Right? Yeah, I'm getting ready to put the link out so that you guys can, if you want to do a cameo, that you'll be able to come on. We'll be able to see you. If I don't want you on there, I ain't gonna bring you on. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not even gonna front. I'm like, nah, you can't come on my podcast if you coming on here with some foolish. We don't do. Okay, if you do come on here, we don't do drama. We don't do controversial. We don't bash.
But we got a little controversy going on though.
But we do got some controversy going on today that we are going to talk about.
But the first thing, I know it's your show. It's
go ahead, Coach Bryant. I am Coach Terry Bryant. This is Coach Bryant. Oh, we're Bryant. One of the only Bryant. We are one of the only husband and wife coaching duos that coach football. He created our dynamic. I created Hits and Heels with a co-host, Danny Wright, because she was also coaching football. She got her dream job and just couldn't hang no more.
Just left us.
And just kicked me to the curb. Then I brought on Coach Bryant because everybody said that they liked when he was on. So we made it happen when he was on.
So she didn't like when I was on. Thank y'all for liking when I was on, because that's what she just said. Isn't that what you just said?
That's what I said.
That's it, what you just said. But you know, there's different topics that's taking place in this area, in Lexington, Kentucky, the University of Kentucky. That's not the first topic. I'm sorry. This is where I have to overrule the queen.
What's the first topic?
The first topic is, how about that Murray State Racers? Murray State Racers baseball is going to the College World Series.
Okay,
College
we got
World Series.
Kentucky team representing in the College World Series.
Murray State, and here's his name, the head coach.
What's his name?
Don
Skirka.
Don Skirka.
Okay,
he's actually
Coach
in his
Skirka.
seventh season with Murray State, and he's 44-15. Amazing him to knock off Duke. They beat Duke 5-4 to win best 2 out of 3. They beat them 19-9, and then the win 5-4 was Duke knocking them off. And Duke was some team we was peaking at. Not this year. Obi was at Duke.
Yeah,
and Terry.
He graduated.
No, he's at Georgia. He went to Georgia.
Oh, he went to Georgia. That's right. That's right, because I looked at the calendar. And they played at Georgia. They didn't play here this year because I wanted to go and watch him play.
Yeah. So with that said, and that's Obi got his first degree at Duke and getting that second degree in master's at Georgia. So with that said, that was pretty good. But we were very, I was peaking at Duke when Obi played. But how about Murray State? I'm just saying.
How about Murray State?
They do play Saturday in the World Series, College World Series. Guys, that's a Kentucky. I said Lexington, a Kentucky college representing and Murray State for the first time the other day. They was on ESPN. They was on ESPN doing their thing. They won 5-4, knocking off Duke, and they played the UCLA Bruins on Saturday. They played them at 1 p.m.
because the UCLA Bruins knocked off our nephew.
You got to keep talking. They don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, sorry. So our nephew, Brock
Palmer,
plays for the University of Texas, San Antonio, and they got knocked off by UCLA Bruins.
Yes. And then the UCLA, they play UCLA, But the topic is the first thing I wanted to discuss, and again, give them that super region ends up knocking off Duke to go to the College World Series. Now, the wife is not a baseball person. Let me just say that. Okay, I'm a baseball guy. That's huge. To go to the World Series, same thing the University of Kentucky did last year, and I will say this again, a plug for UK baseball. He did a better job this year than he did last year. Last year had a lot of talent. He didn't mess it up. But this year, timely this, timely that, made a few mistakes, and Kentucky didn't get back where they were, but the head man at the University of Kentucky, Nick, is done a great job. So I'm always going to throw a little plug in for UK baseball because he is an amazing person, a very gentle person, as in for the status that he's at. Coach Giovanni, the status that he's at, he's amazing.
Coach Mangione?
Yes. The status that he's at, it's amazing. He's so humble. He is humble on what he does. So I have to say that. I'm about to close and we're going to move on. But I'm going to say it again. Congratulations to Kentucky's Mary State Racers. They're in the College World Series and they represent the state of Kentucky. And that's what you do. I mean, you rival each other, but when one of your brother's first cousins do the thing, you give them their love, and one of your sisters, if you will. All right? Mary State, congratulations. Good luck this weekend. Guys, click on the channel ESPN when they're on at 1 p.m. and support them. And amazing thing that they've done. Okay?
How about that?
Mary State finishing 44 and they're 44 and 14. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to throw this in. So people need to stop when they dog Kentucky, because Mary State beat Kentucky early in the year. 5-4 here in Lexington. And they're like, oh my gosh. But that just tells you they were good. They're good. All right. So, as you would say last week, so what's up next?
So what we got next, Coach Brian?
What we got next?
Coach Brian?
All right. You asking me the question? Or you
Coach,
got
do you want to start with the news we got from Kentucky football, or do you want to start with the NCAA ruling?
Well, the ruling is the ruling. The biggest thing is the big dog going to Louisville. The big dog going to Louisville as a general manager. What does a general manager in college do?
What do they do? It's a new job, man.
I don't know what they do.
Know what they do either.
But he obviously.
What does the general manager do in other sports? In NFL, what's the general manager do in the NFL?
They make a lot of decisions, but college is different than NFL and NBA.
So this is a brand new position in college sports.
No, I don't know if it's a brand new position. I've
never heard of it in college sports.
But that don't mean that it's not. I just never heard of it.
Or they call them something else. But this is the first time where they're using the terminology as a general manager. The
general manager. Now.
So yes. Are we still L's, Dan?
Well, I mean, that's your girl's husband. That's your girl's husband. That's your girl's husband, and they said that he's going up there, and a lot of the controversy, what I heard. Now, let me clarify this before I say this.
Because we don't do no rumor mill, Coach.
Okay, we're not doing a rumor mill.
Okay.
I heard the factual.
Facts. Big.
Okay. What I heard, very simple, was that Coach Stoops did not know he was leaving. That actually the first time the University of Kentucky people found out about it, I want to say the gentleman's name is Nick, maybe wrong. He had it out in the article that he's leaving, or it was out by a person. I'm not going. I maybe got his name wrong. So with that said, I got to go personal. No, I don't care what the problem I'm having with someone that's been a friend since I guess junior high, and played together in Park and Rec. If I am correct, they've been knowing each other. They broke tons of bread together. I don't care what we're going through. I don't know if it's true, so I'm not throwing it out there, but that's what I heard, that the University of Kentucky did not know that he was actually leaving. And I think a lot of it has to do with the rumor that everybody was talking about. And all I'm doing is talking about what the radio was saying today is, Eddie Gran has theoretically more power now because of the recruiting. It's sort of like if Eddie says no and he says yes, that's the only thing I can assume that's taking place. And the big dog
didn't like that.
Didn't like that. I don't know that because I'm telling you right now, we would have lost our house. We'd have lost our house. To me to think that the big dog, Coach Murrow, would leave the University of Kentucky and leave his boy. I'm not talking about an associate friend,
but a friend.
I'm not talking about in the system. I'm talking about somebody you break bread together.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure he was probably in the wedding or was the best man in the wedding. I don't know which it was, but I'm pretty sure he was in the wedding. If he chooses not to be in that, we're talking about Coach Stoops. And I'm just throwing this out here to go to Louisville. It doesn't matter where you go, to go to Louisville. And, it was a good opportunity because somebody mentioned to me earlier today, and I said, it's very simple. I said, okay, money is money. If you got money and somebody offers you more money or money,
what's the incentive?
That's not your incentive.
Right.
There's got to be something else going on here while you leave. Yeah. Money ain't the reason when you already bought your boat.
Right.
Bought your condo.
And you got money sitting in the bank.
You got a lot of money. You're not living check to check.
Yeah.
Because, you ain't taking it with you.
Right.
So you can stack it all you want, but somebody else is going to spend it.
Yeah.
So, people understand that. I mean, I don't know what is taking place with the big dog going to Louisville and leaving at this time because we just started. Practice,
yeah.
Meaning the University of Kentucky, and I say that with a mouse in my pocket is because I played there and our son's there. So we just started and getting ready for this upcoming season, and I still remember when I left Bryan Station. Remember that back in the day? Because Ty started as a freshman. That's why I left.
Right.
And everybody knew from Jump Street, this is why I can't start the season. We were 3 games away. But Ty ended up playing and starting as a freshman at Frederick Douglass. So I ended up stepping down as the defensive back coach and co-defensive coordinator with Coach Parks. And but with that said, that's what made, if you will, made me leave. So anyway, so what do you think about that?
I just don't have a comment. I just think, again, it's at the point where something had to happen for it's almost like being married and then getting a divorce. Like there's something had to be really
that. Ain't nobody giving up no houses.
It had to be something really serious.
Yeah, don't use marriage.
It had to be something really serious for him to walk away from 12 years of what he helped to build.
Well, not just that, but beyond the football
and the relationship,
football's going to end, coaches.
Right.
I mean, pretty soon, myself and you, we're going to be done coaching, and somebody else going to step in. Because coaching is just something you do at that moment. But a friendship until God calls you home is amazing.
I'm very, I'm very sensitive about my relationships. And when they. And they're probably worse of a breakup than going through a divorce because it's because of the relationship that you built with something. And so, my heart just goes out to him because something must have just really broke his heart to make him feel like he had to leave.
Yeah, and that's a good perspective because, and like I said, we'd have lost our house. I would have never thought
that he would have left.
Well, I thought he would only leave, like all the rumors every year, because when you're popping,
oh yeah, everybody wants
you. Mm-hmm. When you're popping.
Yeah.
But sometimes you're popping because of your environment. Mm-hmm. If that makes sense to me. And I'm not saying he's not going to pop because the big dog is doing what he does, and he does it very well. And also the conversation had to do with recruiting, how many of the guys he recruited. This is not me. This is what, because I put my ear to the ground on this one, Coach. I put my ear to the ground, and is the percentage of his guys that he recruited was not starting or they didn't stay.
Oh.
Because I'm just saying, if this is a factual, if you're a guru and I recruit 11 guys, like, if I send my kids keeps playing freshman ball from Crawford, they usually start at Frederick Douglass. But if I'm doing what I'm doing and they're not, that sometimes causes a problem. But I don't know if that's the case.
I'm so sorry, I got a cough.
And because you ain't drinking, I remember I couldn't drink nothing no more. I had stuff in my throat, and I'm just throwing it out there. I'm letting the people know.
We know.
Brown, I'm letting the people know that
Mr. Brown, Big Dog turned down a lucrative offer from Bill Belichick at the North Carolina Tar Heels. Yeah.
But again, Mr. Brown, and please time back on my comment. When you already got, I'm gonna finish this. You already got the house. Your credit's good. You got an 888 Beacon score. All right, I'm sorry, and you already got the boat. You can travel anywhere you want to, out of the country, in the country, and you ain't living check to check. Okay, money now doesn't become the issue to me, because you got money. You got life insurance. You drive a nice car.
Yeah.
You got everything you want. Your house has got the thing. So to me, I go back to what Ms. Coach Brown said, Mr. Brown, is it had to be something that hurt him to make him make this type of decision. And I feel for both, and I feel for Coach Stoops as well, because that's his boy.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine Mo Douglas and I coaching together, and Mo is played at the University of Kentucky, played for Chicago Bears, and now he's in Ohio coaching. That's my dog. The relationship him and I have or had when we was around each other all the time, and me leave Mo if I went to his high school to coach in Ohio, that'll be tough. That'll be tough. That Mo had to do something very much for me to leave him. Go ahead.
I think it did too. I think people were like, okay, go any. He said, I believe his decision to go to UK chief rival drew despise from the fan base. I can see that. I got on the chat and there was a lot of negativity on there, and I just didn't want to bring that to my podcast because again, it's still everybody's opinion. They're like, go anywhere but to the rival, because everybody just hates it. But that's just human nature.
I mean, if I'm in Bowling Green and I don't want a coach or a player to go to South Warren, that's not negative. That's the truth.
I agree.
Don't make them better.
Don't go make them better, because
don't make them better. That's what. When you go to work every day and you're common folks like we are, and you go to work every day, right?
Yeah.
And what is your joy? People have different joys. Some people are computers. They do Star Wars. They do this. Mm-hmm. They do Legos. Whatever they're doing, and ours is sports.
Our thing is sports.
We love sports, and we love relaxing because we can forget about the work day. And majority of people in the United States, that's what it is. And the worst thing you want to hear is Louisville Cardinals still are saying CRARD, cars. But you mimic what you mimic. You mimic the best. We ain't mimicking y'all.
Yeah.
We ain't mimicking you, Bell. So when they do that, they don't understand that's flattery, because you mimicked us. So him going there is flattering, because they asked him to come. He accepted, or he has to come, and they accepted to get some away from the University of Kentucky.
Right.
So there we go.
There we go, Coach Bryant. Where do we go from here, though?
Well, on a brighter note, Chris Jean, wide receiver out of Georgia, is a 4-star, 3-star or 4-star. He's actually committed to the University of Kentucky. Georgia wanted him, Alabama wanted him, South Carolina wanted him. So he's actually on his way to Kentucky next year. He's a 3-star. Being a 3-star in Georgia, that's dang good. That means you can play a little bit. So he's coming and out of Georgia. So that's a bright note for the football program. Means we're still grounding and we're still doing our thing. And so.
Mr. Brown, you said on this case, maybe money bought loyalty.
Loyalty means more to me than love.
Loyalty means more than love.
Loyalty is it. I mean, you got to have loyalty. And but again, Mr. Brown, you hitting both notes are correct. Let me make sure we're on the same page there. Both notes that you sent out are correct. But I go back to my beautiful wife saying that there's got to be something to harden your heart that much. And I hope, and I haven't talked to Big Dog, I haven't talked to anyone in the program, meaning my son or any of his friends in the program. I haven't talked to no one.
Yeah, we haven't talked to anybody.
But the thing about it is having him wear red is probably about as sad as when Bettino went to wear red.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah.
When Bettino went to wear red, it was, that was, again, goes back to that's a family member, a brother, first cousin, because a lot of times you grow up with your first cousin. Why I keep saying that, we grow up with our first cousins as brothers and sisters. So, right? I'm
ruining this podcast with this cough.
Well, I can go get you the water. I don't mind.
You don't mind?
I don't mind.
Anyway, what?
Bring me a drink too.
Okay, well, I'm going to take this time out right here to thank our sponsor, the Lexington African American Sports Hall of Fame, where legends shine. They are about to have their gala coming up we are about to have our gala come up on September the 20th at the Central Bank Center here in Lexington, Kentucky. It is a black tie event. They are hosting a 5K event that is raising funds for our scholarship fund. And we also have the scholarship link available, but it's getting ready to end in a couple of days. On June the 13th is, I think, the last day for the scholarship offer. So I think they're offering I think it starts at about $2,500, about $2,500. I think you just have to be an athlete from Lexington, Kentucky, and you have to have an offer. So you're going to have to show the paperwork. That's a good question, Mr. Brown. Show your paperwork where you have an official letter that you are going to be participating at a college in a sport, and that's part of the application process. So if you have an athlete that is going to college this fall, that's another scholarship opportunity that's available for them, because listen, all them coins count. All them coin counts. What's up, Gridiron Beauties? How are you? But all them coins count. So, Mr. Brown, what you say? Which of the three are viewed as cheap traders to BBN? Ooh, I forgot all about Cal, Rick, Cal, or the Big Dog. Coach, which three are viewed as chief traders to BBN? Rick Pitino, Cal, or Big Dog?
No, Rick Pitino.
I think the Rick Pitino one.
Yeah, Rick Pitino.
I mean, how many championships would they have if Rick would have just stayed here at Kentucky? Because he always has a great team. He had a great team this past year that should have went a little bit farther than what they did, but they didn't.
I had them winning it.
I had them winning it too, and I had St. John going Final Four. I think my in my bracket, I think I had them in the championship game. So I had them going pretty far, and so they had they were out pretty earlier than expected. But he built a great team, and he was there. The Cal one.
The Cal was time to go, Mr. Brown, to me.
Yeah.
The Cal was time to go. And we talked about this. My biggest problem is with the Cal situation, it was about him. It wasn't to me. I mean,
it wasn't about Kentucky.
I don't know him. I met him a couple of times, but it was about Kentucky. You know, Kentucky's won titles, and I used to say that to people all the time. Kentucky has All-Americans prior to this era, and to me, the biggest deal to me was Cal. It was about Cal and how he looked at his legacy. That's, you know, not the school's legacy, because if you get the school's legacy, you're gonna get your legacy.
Yeah.
And then now you got MVP and staying on Cal, and the MVP of the NBA that didn't start.
And they didn't start.
He didn't start. Then he eventually started. He didn't start at first. And then you have all these players in the NBA, and you got one title.
That's what I had a problem with, is that you were loaded. You know, because how many times have we had a team and we were like one or two players away from being good, and then we find out that some of those players that should have been on our team and in our district, and you know, just decided to go someplace else, which is fine. But had they been on our team, we'd have won a championship well. And they realized it after we beat them. Well, that happened a couple times too. Yeah,
you put them on a team, that makes the team better. So in my mind, the biggest thing had to do with this situation.
Oh yeah, but yeah,
with UK is Bettino by far. Cal was time to go, because if you're going to keep recruiting, he had a great run in the NCAA tournament, but he had an okay season.
Right.
During the regular season, they had a great run in the NCAA. Clap. Okay, but he had an okay season. He was up and down like he was doing here. He just changed it by winning 2 games in the NCAA.
Right.
Correct. He went to the Sweet 16. Right.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, good stuff. His guards in the NBA are excellent. Oh yeah, absolutely.
I love them.
Yeah, they're excellent. Doing a great job. Do you want to go to Gridiron Beauties? Yes, a great weekend of women's football in WFA and the WNFC conference finals. So the WFA is so my team is in the WFA, and this is our last regular season game is this Saturday. My team, the Derby City Dynamite, is traveling to Atlanta. Meet me in Atlanta at 6:00 at the Southern Crescent Stadium in Riverdale at 6:00. Come holler at your girl, get a selfie. I think it's $20 at the gate. But if you're in town and you're in Atlanta and you don't have nothing to do at 6:00 on Saturday, come holler at your girl. I will not be able to travel all around Atlanta or like I normally do back in the day. I'm just got too old for that. And then I'm planning on being at the WNBA game on Friday night.
What WNBA game?
The Chicago Sky versus the Dream is Friday night. Is out of Atlanta.
Oh, that.
That game is Friday night at 7:30.
You told me you were leaving Saturday morning.
Yeah, I'm leaving Friday.
See what I'm saying, people? See what I'm saying? That's all B is saying. See how she treats her husband? Don't give him no information because he will boycott it. No, we're good. Just be safe and love, babe.
Yeah,
safe and love.
Right. So, so we played the Atlanta Rage. Matter of fact, they just dropped their All-Americans. I think most of the All-Americans have dropped. I haven't seen our list of All-Americans for our team yet. But shout out to all those that are making the All-Americans. The WNFA is in their I think conference finals right now. Gridiron Beauty just gave us a little update. The IX Cup, the 9 Cup will be awesome. Washington Project undefeated versus multi-time champions Texas Elite Spartans, June 21st at the Cowboys training facility on ESPN2 with Bow Wow at the halftime show. So so show up on June the 21st, and then actually the week after that will be the WFA will show up as their championship weekend, and it will be out of the Hall of Fame Stadium, and the championship game will be on the 27th, I believe, And it will also be on ESPN too. But I don't know if we got anybody big time like that doing the halftime show.
Well,
over there.
Well, let me say this. This past weekend, right? I came.
You did.
We were playing a little baseball because I coached a little baseball with the Newty Stars, 14U, and did our thing. Right when the game over, usually I run for vice president, and I got in the car, got to the game, and it was raining.
It was raining.
It was just raining for no reason. And it got there, and they did their thing. They blew the team out. And here's the thing: is okay, gridiron. I got a problem. Can I have a problem?
What's the problem?
The problem is y'all would have scored 80.
We would have.
And then all of a sudden, they don't want to continue to play. It wasn't even halftime yet, and the score was 38-0.
Yeah, so
and
we had
all of a sudden,
we had to score the last three.
And for y'all to have a chance to make the playoffs, you had to score this amount of points. I would have said, no, we're gonna play to 6 minutes in the fourth quarter, because sometimes it ain't run up the score. It is putting your team in a position maybe to have a chance. You had your chance. If you don't lose, then you're not in a situation. But the situation occurred that if you get this amount of points, you still qualify maybe to make the playoffs.
The Massey. I don't like the Massey, but I guess that's what they got to do.
I mean, the Massey makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
But the thing is, it's sort of like I never liked during the pandemic, and sorry about all the people that lost their lives and the tragedy we went through. But by sports-wise, it was kind of tough because you would lose a game, but so many points got your ratings up. If you scored 60, and they gave you 1 point for the other team canceling. But you averaged 40.
Yeah, but you averaged 40, so you weren't able to make your average.
You can't make up 39 points because they wouldn't give it to you.
Yeah.
I just think when teams do that and they don't continue to play the contract of that, then automatically the score is 40. You get 40 points automatically. Automatically. If you start playing, 40 points. Boom. Then teams will keep playing because nobody wants to look like 40-0, 40-6. So
Gotcha. Okay.
All right.
So women's tackle football this weekend. Meet me in the ATL.
Well, we're going to stay real quickly if we can, then we'll move the subject. What did Mr. Brown say?
Much talk has all of a sudden pivoted to Stoops' future, as many believe UK will go 4-7 and they will pursue Summerall.
Well, and what that said is, if they do, they do. Is because he set the standards a little higher than what it used to be here at UK, and he's done a great job. I don't care what it has nothing to do with. To me, he's done a great job. You look at how many guys he sent them to the pros, a lot. He's done a lot. So they're recruiting very well. My biggest thing is it's sort of like in basketball. This past year, you couldn't say that because there was a lot of SEC teams that was very good in basketball. But normally, it's only like 3 or 4.
Yeah. Let's
not get it twisted.
Yeah, but this year it was loaded.
And playing in the SEC with Oklahoma coming and Texas coming.
Oh, my God.
And it's just something about certain schools. Ohio State's always going to win. Alabama's always going to win. I'm sorry, guys. Take your chip off your shoulder. There's certain teams that's going to win. And like in the 70s, there were certain football teams in the 80s. That was UCLA, USC. Then it changed. But right now in this decade, it's not going to change anytime soon because they're going to get the money to get the players. Ohio State, Oregon, Texas, they're going to get the money now. They're going to get money. And now you can buy your team. So, but our mindset will stay like it's still in the 80s and 90s.
So I was on a podcast today with Tanya Stamp. She say sports, And she asked me the question about the whole NIL and the NCAA ruling. How do you think that's going to affect?
Well, explain the NCAA ruling.
Oh, the NCAA ruling was well, basically the schools now can pay the players directly. And so now the schools have like a pot of money that comes from like their TV TV money or whatever like that from being on TV, and that money now gets distributed to the players. And of course the teams that are the revenue generating sports such as football and men's and women's basketball, they get the majority of that pot of money. And I think it's like a $20 million.
It's $20 million.
Yes, $20 million. And so yeah, they'll
well, and I've heard talk shows talk about this earlier before it actually got passed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And I mean, if you stop at a D1 school or even a major D2 school and you stop football, you realize what the cost to go to that school would go up.
Yeah.
Because majority of the money goes to a lot of stuff besides the football program.
Well, COVID exposed a lot of things too, where when they were talking about shutting down everything, including sports during COVID, there was only going to be 3 schools. And of course, Georgia and Texas was 2 of those schools. And was Alabama the third one?
Mm-hmm.
Were the only 3 schools that were able to sustain and survive outside if their football programs were not playing. But it was only 3 out of however many NCAA schools that are available that would have been able to do that.
And the thing is, Terry, the biggest thing is people, they look at gender, but the bottom line is football is a social media, not media as in press, but media as in get-togethers.
Yeah.
I mean, what is the greatest thing we love is our family meeting with us tailgating.
That's fun.
I mean, that's football.
That's
fun.
A
lot of people don't even come in the stadium.
Yeah, they just come to tailgate, and then they go home.
But it's a gathering, and then they're buying this or they're buying UK this, they're buying UK that. And then look at all the people that pays money to, that gives her, their works. That's the word I'm looking for. That helps out even the high school programs that they do session stands. There's an event coming up with the Powell Raiders.
Their
luncheon thing, and they have a booth at UK football that they're earning money for those little babies to be able to play football. Mm-hmm. To buy the equipment, because football is very expensive, like baseball, like all of them is. So with that is 20 million, and then I was listening to one of the shows, and they was talking about give so much money to the football program or UK basketball. UK basketball, as of right now, we feel has a better chance to win a national title.
Yes.
Than UK football does, because majority of people are going to say give the money to the football to get the players here. But I said, how did it work out for a lot of teams last year? You trying to buy it, and you didn't buy it to win.
I just think it's just difficult. The hardest part of recruiting. And you can agree with me or disagree with me, but tell me. I know you can. You love to disagree with me.
I don't love disagreeing.
But the hardest part of recruiting, and this is why I would not want to be a college coach. I would not want to be a college coach. Okay. Is because you have players that come in and they don't know how to compete because they're used to being the man where they are, and then they aren't the hype that they were on film. They aren't as good as they thought they were, or they're not as good as you thought they were when you were looking at film. Because it's not like you can sit there and just watch film on a player for hours and hours and hours to really get a good depiction. You're going to look at a highlight reel. You're going to look at their stats. And, let's be honest, there's, I've seen coaches that padded the stats of players to help them to look better than what they actually are, especially when they weren't playing, anybody. So as a coach, sometimes I'm looking at players and I'm like, okay, how did the recruiting coordinator, whoever, and I'm not dogging them, come up with this player being a 5-star, a 6-star, or 4-star, or when they don't play no opinion. Because it's just an opinion. So people get caught up in this whole star rating, and I don't understand why the star rating hasn't gone away, because it's still an opinion. Because everybody is not equal everywhere. So there's no even playing field to be able to judge all the players off, because let's be honest, a 4-star, a 5-star in Kentucky is not equal to a 5-star in Georgia.
And it's based on the percentage of, good point, based on percentage of who you play. Because, by the way, somebody help me. What college, they wasn't a 4-star, they wasn't a 5-star.
Yeah.
In the NFL, who's the all-time receiver?
Is that Jerry Rice?
Oh,
did he go to HBCU?
Oh, yeah. What is one of the top leading rushers, 1, 2, or 3? God rest his soul. They call him Sweetness. Walter Payton.
Jackson State.
Is that
an HBCU?
I don't think he was a 4 or 5-star.
Yeah.
So again,
yes, they're subjective. So that's my whole part of the, of the point of the whole star rating, and I just have a problem with that and the recruiting.
And I had that conversation today with a very prominent sports guy, radio guy, and I had this. And God bless you. Hope you're doing better, and love and prayers. You know that, AC. And with that said, I said the same thing, and I gave this example. Okay, and a lot of people didn't know, what did I do in high school on the weekends? What was my job?
You were on the radio.
I was a radio guy. So I came on the radio and I'm talking, and I'm at this store called Houghton's Market, and I am 16 years of age, and these 2 older guys, they were 26, 27, 28. When you're 16, that's old. So, and I'm listening to them, and they were just believing everything I said. But that was my opinion. Mm-hmm. And that's what him and I was talking about, the 4 and 5-star.
Yeah.
And I kept saying, wait a second. That's a person opinion. They punch it up because they able to punch it up. Because I can look at talent and I can say, oh, that kid's good. But I don't have any format to put that out there
to help promote that particular.
Yeah. And in some cases you can tell a 5-star because it ain't a lot of them. It ain't a lot of 4-stars.
Yeah. I
mean, you look at the NFL, NBA, the ones that stands out. And that's a fact. And that's a fact. The ones that stands out. And I don't know. It's just amazing. I want to go here at this point and stay on the UK football schedule, which everybody's saying we're going to go for. We've got to beat Toledo. I'm sorry. We got to beat Toledo. Toledo's going to have a pretty good team this coming year. And then we, next game is East Michigan.
We got to beat Eastern Michigan.
Okay, so right now we should be 2-0. And then here comes South Carolina is going to try to throw 90 points on us for what we did to them down there and beating them at their court. He's going to try to come in. South Carolina. Not South Carolina.
We didn't beat South Carolina. Ole Miss?
No. Well, I was thinking South Carolina.
But you're talking about Ole Miss.
I was thinking Ole Miss. Okay. But South Carolina, we play South Carolina. Then we play Georgia. Okay, those 2 are on the road. I'm sorry, I am right. Ole Miss, the second game of the season. I skipped them. Ole Miss is the second game of the season. We play them at home. I go back to what I just said, and you corrected me, made me look at my paper.
Not my bad, babe. I'm sorry.
No, you made me look at my paper. And with that said, we play Ole Miss, the second game of the season. And again, they're going to try to score 90 points based on us beating them there in their home field. And they were putting up 60 points a game. And then the next game is Eastern Michigan. So right now we're going to be battling, and then we go on the road for two real dog fights. You know, we go to South Carolina, who's actually going to be very good this year. They should be ranked in the top 10 this coming year because they've got a lot of guys returning. That their pool. They got a lot from the pool, and then we play Georgia. You know, what's that coming down the track? The mean machine in the red and black. There's nothing finer in the land than an obnoxious Georgia fan. Go Dogs, go Dogs.
Ask me why he's singing this fight song for Georgia.
Go Dogs.
When we're
no, I'm just saying. I know the song. I know.
Why do you know the song?
You know why I know the song. I know the song. I know the song. How about those Georgia Bulldogs? So we go there, and then we come right back, and we. Whoa, this is a tough schedule. Then we play. So I'm gonna go back to Louisville. Stop. You Louisville fans, stop. Then after we get done, we play South Carolina, play Georgia, then we play Texas, then we play Tennessee, then we play Auburn.
And I guarantee 4 of those.
And then we play Florida.
Okay, so that's 6 games.
Please.
4 of those 6 teams are going to be top 10.
But here's what people don't understand.
Are going to be top 10.
And they're dogging Kentucky, they're dogging Stoops. But guys, they're
going to be top 10.
I'm going to go personal.
Every year we got to play at least 2-3 top 10 teams.
Okay, but I say this, and I know my boy, I hope he's somewhere he can punch in, and that's Hagan. My boy, Eric Hagan, the head baseball coach at Bryan Station, is from Lima, Ohio. Okay, he's from Lima, Ohio. He is a true
Buckeye
fan. Go Bucks. Okay, when you play that type of schedule, you're going to have some injuries. When you play the schedule they play, you're not going to have no injuries because they're on the bench at halftime.
Yeah.
I mean, people don't get that.
Like Frederick Douglass was when we were having our run. Ty didn't have to play a full game.
It's a big difference.
And that's a big difference.
And everybody's like, okay, Ohio State beat this guy. But you're banged up. You're going to play, but you ain't 100%. I love Oklahoma's coach, and Mr. Brown can chime in on that. I love Oklahoma's coach when he played 3 straight games in the SEC, and he made a comment. His comment was, well, after we got playing, before we came in the SEC, everybody hear me, they can hear my voice. He said, my guys got in a whirlpool the next day.
Yeah.
He said, in the SEC, our guys get in the whirlpool after the game, the next day, and the next day. He said, we had to push back practice
so that everybody could heal.
And they was in shorts when we normally in full gear because they needed an extra day to recover. That's the SEC. You're going to get banged. And then add in Texas and Oklahoma, who has a history of winning, who has a history of everything. And the Big Ten got UCLA and USC and Oregon. And Oregon usually does very well, and Washington.
Mm-hmm.
They do very well today, and then how did Washington do in the Big Ten? Not good. Okay. So my point is, again, it makes a difference.
It makes a difference.
And so with that schedule, that's why everybody's looking at Kentucky football. Because it's just a lot of times your starters at the University of Kentucky are good.
Yes, but then they end up getting injured.
What is the big, or just the other team's second unit is even with your first unit?
Yeah.
And that is always has been. That's Georgia, Texas, Tennessee, Auburn.
Yeah, their second unit is just as good.
So somebody tell me what decade those teams had a decade of not winning football games. I'm listening.
Yeah.
Now let me go to the Big Ten, and I can tell you a lot of them.
Yeah.
They still don't win. I mean, they do very well, and then all of a sudden the reality kicks in. So
Well, I mean, I've had some conversations with people because they hate the SEC because of its competitiveness, and they've dominated.
Who would
the last
ESPN rather have on? The Big Ten, the Pac-10, the Puck-10, the Green 10, the Old 10, or the SEC?
The SEC.
Because they're gonna make money.
Because they're gonna make money.
They're gonna make a lot of money if the SEC's on. That's not biased. That's a fact.
Yeah, I think when and I thought it was fun. I didn't understand why, but even the Georgia-Kentucky game last year was one of the highest rated games
because Kentucky always plays Georgia very well, especially at home.
And we should have beat them, and we got cheated.
And yeah, they got some respect they should deserve. But in the middle school football, we're used to that.
We're used to that in middle school football.
There's certain teams that gets a little bit
more respect than
I don't know why.
Than we do.
So stand on football. Is that cool?
Yeah, stand on football.
All right, go ahead, do your thing. What do you say?
What you got next, Coach?
There we go. What you got next, Coach? That's I'm gonna get a shirt. What you got next, Coach? All right, let's talk a little bit of high school football. That's coming up. This year, who stands out? Bryan Station with JT Haskins. Last year's season went 7-5. So how do you feel Bryan Station is going to do with their coach going across the street, if you will? How do you feel? How do you feel Coach Haskins is going to do, Coach?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know what the transfer portal looked like.
Everybody has a transfer portal.
I don't know what the transfer portal looked like, and I haven't paid attention to what the transfer portal looked like as far as like who left Station to follow him over there. And
he was already there. He was defense coordinator. JT Haskins.
No. I'm talking about who Hawkins. Yeah, I'm talking about. We're still at Haskins. Yes. I think I like the coaching staff that he put together. My boy Bird is over there, and he's got a couple other people. I think that some really good position coaches that will help him. But the north side is always loaded. If the players that are supposed to be at Bryan Station would just go there, they're gonna be good.
Yes, they're gonna be.
And that's all I can say about that. If the players that are supposed to be there stay there, they're always going to be good because they're always loaded with talent on that end of this.
So they finished the season 7-5, and the next is Frederick Douglass, who was in the semifinals, got beat by the team who ended up winning the championship. I ain't saying their name. We know who won. They went 9-5. So Frederick Douglass is always. I mean, when you
reloaded every year.
I mean, and
that's got to be so fun to coach. It's because it's fun to watch because all our babies is over there, and we like going and watching.
But the different thing is, and I say this about Frederick Douglass, and I say it all the time. Those coaches, those coaches put some time in. They got some very understanding wives, and girlfriends. If they're not all married.
And I think what's helped too is his consistency with his coaching staff. He hasn't had a lot of turnover on his coaching staff.
He has a lot of the major turnovers, as in the OC.
Yeah.
But they lost the OC. He is gone.
Oh, he did finally. Okay,
he is gone. And I can't remember if he went to coach and if Coach Mapeak is listening, you can type it in and let me know. I can't remember if he went to coach or he just I know he had a little baby, and if he's going to be a part of that situation. Now, this is the key. 1-10, that's Henry Clay, and Coach Hawkins is now in Henry Clay. Now, this is your point. Take two. How many people follow him over? I know a lot of his coaching staff follow him over.
I know that's huge. The fact that a lot of his, I think the foundation of his coaching staff that he had followed him too. And that's huge. And so I don't know what the transfer portal looked like as far as how many of the players that were there that also followed. So
he's got to do he's got to do something that their record.
But he also has an advantage because they changed the feeder system, and all of Hayes is now going to feed into Henry Clay. And so now you at least have, now you got Henry Clay, now you have Hayes and Morton, and Hayes is always good every year, and Hayes always has some horses
Well,
on the team.
And people tend to forget that Henry Clay, to me, remember I told you this before, Henry Clay was unbelievable for many years. And their downfall started in 2016, 3-7-1, 6-6, 6-6, 0-11, 2-4, 1-10, 3-8, and 0-11. So with that said, that's not last year's, that's previous year from last year. But Henry Clay to me was always had some horses. They got a lot of good thing. And then the biggest thing that's going to help them too is they about to build a new complex.
They about to build a new complex.
I saw the blueprints.
Yeah,
it's nice.
And so having an indoor facility and being the only team in the city with the indoor facility should give them an edge.
It should get people moving that district.
And it should, yes.
Because that's
everybody likes the new shiny object.
Everybody likes it. And then they realize it's just new. It's not, if you go out to dinner to a 4-star restaurant, you're paying for the little shaggy mirrors that you're not taking home. Then you realize I shouldn't have did that.
Mm-hmm.
So with that is, and then also in Lafayette, John Lawson, my boy for over 30 years. That's been one of my best friends, 6-5. But he's coming off of a back-to-back years where he should got some players from Jesse Clark. He should have got some players from Jesse Clark because they won it as the 7th graders and 8th graders, and now they're freshmen and sophomores. And so a 6-5 record for Lafayette. I'm pretty sure Coach Lawson is looking to be a little bit better than that. What do you think?
He is.
Yeah.
And I hope that he is.
Yeah, Lawson's a great guy. He needs to get that knee taken care of, but Lawson's a great guy, and that's some love for him. All right. The new football coach for Catholic is David Clark. Catholic finished 7-7 last year, and he coming from where did he come from? Bardstown, I think that's right. Yes, Bardstown. He's coming from Bardstown, which he was a head coach there, so he's got a lot of coaching experience, and so I wish him well. I haven't met him. Wish him well. They were 7-7. And Lexington Christian, my boy Doug Charles, who actually left, and he's still in my understanding, he's a GM. He's Coach tomorrow, Coach Big Dog now. He's a GM now, and finishing off a great season, semifinals, 11-3 at Lexington Christian. And you never know about that. It depends on who leaves, who comes, because it's a private school.
Yeah.
So that makes
they can recruit.
Now the one that I'm telling you guys that I hope they do super well, and I mean that is my man Coach Johnson, who finished the season 1-9 at Paul Lawrence Dunbar. If you ever met the guy, he's a fantastic coach, fantastic person. And sometimes when you meet people and you get to know them and you don't really know them and you slowly get to know them, you wish them well because they just give you that positive energy when they're around. And just got to get some players to out on the field this coming year and be better a little bit 1-9. And then we have my boy Penn. And I say this all the time. When I needed helmets,
he's the only one came through.
The only one that came through.
Will he be competitive?
Well, they lost a lot of guys. They won the state championship in 1A last year. Their big horse is going off to Louisville. And they got a lot of players that's going to different schools. But it's going to be tough because but he has something else. He's still got something else going for him. He's got another Pennington's going to be a quarterback. So this is his last child. He's going to step into that. So he's going to know the offense because he's in the house with him. And his wife, Miss Pennington, she's a great lady and understands sports and understands football and understands that Dad's going to say, excuse me, yeah, homework in, but we got to go over film. And that's always a big plus for me. And then last but not least is Jonathan Hawkins with Tates Creek, which I said they finished last year 6-4. If I am correct, they got beat by Madison Central in the first round of the playoffs last year. Got actually blown out, if I remember correctly. I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they didn't score and gave up a lot of points. but he's got a lot of players returning. He's got definitely one of the top players in the state of Kentucky and the state of Lexington. The city of Lexington and the state of Kentucky is Burnside, the quarterback who transferred from Frederick Douglass, and who's going to be a big key. The running back name that they have returning, I can peek and look, escapes me. He returns as a senior, and with that combination with the line that they have returning, can I say this? I'm gonna throw it out there, Coach.
What?
I don't know, but I think the team's gonna be tough to beat. Stay Creek.
I think it's gonna be tough to beat, only because of the coaching staff that he's put together.
Oh, you put a who?
Yes.
He put a who? You know, he stole two of my boys.
He did. Yeah, he did.
Thief.
Yeah. But the coaching staff that he put together is absolutely impressive, and they can flat out coach.
They can coach, and they're young.
And they're young. Yes.
So when a kid says, like now, when a young person at Crawford Middle School says a slang word,
I'm like, what?
And I have to call Todd to ask, what does that mean? Did he just cuss me out and I didn't know?
All right.
And so with that said is we're gonna effort it, and I found that that's not a word, but I've heard radio people say it, sweetheart. We're gonna effort it and try to get every one of these coaches on this podcast just to talk about the upcoming football season, and not have two of them on, and we want them to really talk about how they feel about their program, because it's a big deal now. It's a big deal. It's getting young people off to college, getting NIL money, changing their family's life, bringing an extra $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month, helps families. And you got coaches in place right now that can do that. And I mean that. So, Lexington Christian. I'm sorry, I forgot about Lexington Christian. Oakley coach is taking over. He was the OC. They finished 11-3. I apologize for that. A new coach, and I said Doug's name because that's my boy. I've been knowing him for over 20 years. And Lexington Christian finished in 11-3, made it to the semifinals. So we wish Coach, what is that? What did I write? Wilkinson? Watkins. Thank you. Coach Oakley Walkley, who's taken over, was the OC, who I know. And so with that said is we wish everybody well. Bryan Station, Frederick Douglass, Henry Clay, Lafayette, Lexington Catholic, Lexington Christian, Paul Lawrence Dunbar, Sarah, and Tate Street. We wish everybody well, healthy, and about a few weeks away from grounding.
A few weeks away. When do we start, Coach Bryant?
Well, the dead period is coming up real soon.
Because I know I've seen the Bearcats got a new not the Bearcats. The Black Cats got a new coach, and
Black Cat.
LTMS. It's called the Lexington Middle School now. They changed the name like Crawford changed their school. But they already start. Where'd Jordan go?
Jordan is pursuing his academics, and so he's going to take a year off. He's going to do his student teaching. He's going to get his certification to be a teacher. Mm-hmm. Proud of him. I coached him back in the day, and very proud of him. So you're going to have new coaches. The new school, Hollering is taking over the new school, mm-hmm. and a good friend.
I should have sent him the link.
Yeah, we're gonna get him on. We need to talk to him. Yeah. And one of the few offensive people that I like that actually don't bore me with offensive stuff.
Yeah, he's another great guy. I mean, we got some good people in place. I thought he was a good,
I'm happy to know that your boy Tate Creek.
Who's that Tate Creek?
Your girl's head coach.
Lewis.
Right.
Is he still there?
Yeah, remember there was a conference that he wasn't coming back, or
but he is coming back.
Yeah, to my understanding, he's coming back, and he's done a great job. Tate Creek should be their middle school program is outstanding last year as a B team.
Yeah.
What we call JV, and he's got a lot of horses returning, and with that said, and then who's done very Mobley, who's the girls basketball coach for Frederick Douglass, who's taken Southern
and they all feed into Tate Creek as well.
Yeah, and he's done a fantastic job. And made it.
Is
Both
that
teams.
my boy, Coach Morton over there?
Yeah,
too?
Coach Morton. He made it to the semifinals and championship game last year, and the year before he's done very well. So he's done a fantastic job, and I don't know if I'm forgetting someone. Coach Talley at Beaumont as well. I got to give love out.
Who got the Jesse Clark job?
Oh God, he told me it's one of his assistants.
Okay.
And I had it wrote down, and I didn't write it down. So Doug left after winning championship. We didn't make it there. For one reason or another. Again, it still bothers me, and I hope people hear me say it. It bothers me, and you have never heard me whine about something when it's over. But that still bothers me because the babies deserve better. That's all I'm saying. I'm sorry.
So have we announced a new athletic director for the district yet? Have they filled that job yet?
They haven't filled the job yet. What's my boy's name? Who left?
Robert Sear?
Yeah, Robert. And the thing is about that, somebody brought that up to me, Coach, is I knew he was leaving in 2025 because his daughter's graduating from Wilson County.
Okay.
And his daughter, at my understanding, is a soccer player and very good.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's what you do as a parent. You support your child, and everybody should.
Everybody should. I think parent support is huge. Mm-hmm. You want to talk about that?
No, you can talk about it.
I think parent support is everything. I mean, if you have a child that's playing sports, you got to do whatever. It means something when you're sitting in the stands.
It means something.
It means something when you're sitting in the stands.
Oh, let me say this and keep this, and you can time on that. I will never forget Ty when me and his mom got divorced, and then you and I hooked up, and then her and her husband hooked up. And Ty said to me at a very young age, he loved when all four of us was in the stands supporting him. And I was like, oh. I mean, he liked that because he looked the people that love him more than just people cheering for him. And that's the way I took it. Mm-hmm. And everybody's sacrificing to show up in the stands, and I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that's good stuff. Show up for your kids.
Show up for your kids.
It means a lot. As a matter of fact,
you know what I'm saying?
It's Father's Day this weekend. Coach Brian, happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day to everyone. Man, I'm just saying, give me my love as a father.
You've done a absolute fantastic job as a father.
And the thing is about it is and I know that we don't get on controversy, but you gotta have that some male, father, uncle, first cousin in his life, because he's gonna, there's certain things, like I said it before with our daughter, Jay. I can't tell Jay 99% of the stuff or 89% of the stuff that she's mentally going through, relationships, heartbreaks, because I'm on the other end of it. I don't know it. And the one thing is, not knowing something ain't a bad thing. Pretending like you know everything is the problem. And so every male that's listening, happy Father's Day, and people appreciate that male bonding, because that's what makes the world go round. It really does. We understand the woman's place is huge, majorly huge, but don't take it granted.
I'm gonna be controversial, which I normally don't do. But in my opinion,
ain't that Prince?
I don't know. Controversy.
That's Prince.
I don't care who agrees and don't agree. It is more important for the male to be in a child's life than it is for the mom, because when the father is absent from the child suffers. But when the mom is absent and there's a father involved, the children still, not more than 90, 80%, 95% of the time, are still able to flourish because of the leadership of the dad, if that dad is the the sole found if he's leading. You know, but and that's all I'm just gonna say about that. Who was Glad?
Well, thank you. You know that's what I'm working for now.
Who?
You just said it, Glad.
You working for Glad for what?
Well, coming up, I am going to be doing Friday night football games here in Fayette County from Glad. Looking forward to it. Calling high school football games, and you know, up there. I'm excited about it, and talked to Chris, and we worked out it, and I'm excited. So I'll be at different football games on Friday nights. Some games I will miss because of Ty Bryant at University of Kentucky, because I will be on the road on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
But majority of the time, that's the place that we'll agree. Thanks Sean Woods, who put my name out there, and good luck this year at Scott County, Sean Woods.
Yeah.
You know, and
we're gonna have to bring him back on now that he didn't transition to.
Yeah, well, we're gonna bring him back on after a few practices, because the hardest thing is, let me say this before I go back to Glad. The hardest thing is I go back to Coach Hagan, who's probably listening. But I went back to Coach Hagan. I had to remind him, these are not college kids.
They're transitioning from college and coming back.
Certain things.
Yeah.
And I'm just being honest with you. They can't. And the greatest thing about Coach Hagan is he heard me, because I've been a high school coach.
Yeah. And
I know the level that they go. So that's my biggest thing with Coach Wood. You know, Sean is, you know, when you say something, sometimes you're gonna say it 2 to 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
Because college guys, there's a lot of high school guys. Let me clarify this. There's a lot of high school guys, but only a few go up to college out of all the high school guys.
Absolutely.
And the ones that goes up to college want it.
Yes.
So they're going to try to master craft their gift. High school kids play because that's what they've been doing since they were 7.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not out there for the same reason. So I wish Sean well, but like I said, I will be at certain games this coming season, discussing football. I'll be doing the color, and it's going to be exciting.
Congratulations, Coach Bryant, because I feel like you've got so many gifts, and I think that's probably one of your best.
Well,
I've always, because remember this past weekend we needed somebody to call our game. And I was like, babe, come do it. And then the guy showed up, and I was disappointed that he showed up, because I really knew that if people would have heard you live, that they would have been like wanting to hire you, or they would have been absolutely impressed, because he is absolutely amazing as a commentator.
Well, I think a lot of times you take what your goals are, and you do take a backseat to your kids' goals.
You do.
And the only thing that makes me click and makes me enjoy is watching number 14, watching the daughter, Jay, do her thing in Chicago. And you sit back and you really put your feet up. You know, you get your cigar in your mouth and you get your bourbon, and you just enjoy and you smile. I'm sorry. You do.
I mean, that's what life is all about, is you know, once you have kids, it's raising them to be,
because they're going to do that with their kids.
Yeah.
If you do it with your kid, they're going
to mimic something with their kid. My parents weren't sport. I don't know how I got it, because, well, I guess sometimes you take the negative and go. So my parents didn't come to my games. And so they weren't into sports like that. They didn't even watch sports and stuff on TV and stuff like that. And so, you know, I kind of just got my love of the game, you know, from just the success that I had. But let's go back to Mr. Bryant. There are those that are rude and disrespectful, and those that are respectful to others and referees. You just said a whole mouthful right there, because we could write a whole book on sports parent etiquette, and we're probably going to have to do a whole do a show and just have it on just sports parent etiquette, Coach Bryant.
But I wish Mr. Brown would actually come on the air, like I could see his face. Okay, here's what I'm saying. As a coach, a parent, as a player, a lot of times, I know parents go overboard. They do. They go overboard because their heart's in it. I mean, and I've said that many times, even in my job, your heart's in it. So you're saying stuff.
Yeah. I mean, everybody wants to go out
sometimes
for
you
their
go
kid.
outside your mind when you think someone is
mistreating
disrespecting your child. And here's what I've always said. I've never got on a parent. I at that time I'm on them, but I don't hold a grudge against them.
Yeah.
Because what I think is disrespectful, you may not think Mr. Brown is disrespectful.
Right.
So it doesn't matter what a person does or say, it's how a person receives it. If I feel like you mistreating, and the word on the street is, I wear my emotion on my sleeve when it comes to Ty. Yeah. If I think Stoops is disrespecting Ty, doesn't mean he is. But if I think he's disrespecting Ty, then I'm going to respond.
Right.
And that don't mean I'm right. I'm not saying I'm right. But I think a lot of times when people talk about this day and age and parents are, I'm not talking about hitting a coach or hitting an official, but you yelling at an official, like, what do you call it? I'm not talking about cussing at an official. That's different. That's personal. I'm not saying being personal. But if I get a that's enough coach in baseball, when an umpire 100% misses a call,
right,
I'm going to react.
Right.
And the best way I've always said, you on New Circle Road and a person cuts you off, what's the first reaction you're going to have as a human? What are you doing?
What are you
now,
doing?
I'm not saying keep running with it. So, Mr. Brown, you're right. I'm not saying keep running with it, but your first reaction is to respond to a negative. And that's human nature.
And then when it comes to your kids, it's, you're going to do it because I'm going to tell you right now. Oh, yeah. And you best believe it, right? That I believe, he said, I believe Coach Terry is going in on a rude fans that do too much regarding Ty.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's not even close.
Absolutely.
I can't get a word
out. I do not play no games when it comes to my children.
But the funniest one is remember AC Cutler asked me this question, and I said I've never had a person that's around us because they knew that was our child. It's when somebody said something to Dana Dane, when Dana Dane dropped a pass, and that's like our son.
Yeah, he's like our son. He's our nephew.
I mean, that mother,
he's nephew.
Since he was this
big, but not just our kids, but kids that are close to us. You can't say nothing about.
Don't attack.
Don't attack none of our babies. They're all our babies, but if we're close to them, or if we coach them, or we're friends with them, I mean, we can with their parents. I mean, you can't say. I'm gonna tell you right now, you can't say nothing about Dane Key. You can't say nothing about Xavier Brown. You can't say nothing about Kai Simpson,
Hicks.
Terry Hicks. Terrion Hicks. You can't say nothing about Brock Palmer. You can't say nothing
about BB.
Yes, BB. Braxton Burst. You can't say nothing. Who else? I mean, we could just go down the line.
Kenny.
Isaiah Kenny. You can't. You can't.
It's because we've invested. That's what I'm getting at.
We're invested in these kids, and we do not play.
So when parents respond something, even like at Crawford, I don't respond if a parent just shouts something out, because that's a response. Mm-hmm. That's a reaction. But if they keep doing it, then I'm gonna turn around and go, "That's enough."
Yeah.
Because now that's different, you know, and I never get mad at a fan or a parent who does that, Mr. Brown. I don't, because I'm human. I'm not a computer. You can't program me to act a certain way. And when people make a comment about people doing that, I go, wait a second, they're human. And I say it again for the second time. Let somebody cut you off on New Circle Road. You are going to respond to that. Now, you ain't gonna drive up behind them and hit the car and rumbling off the road and keep cussing them out. You're gonna go, what are you doing? That's a response, and that's different. And that's how I view it.
And I get what you said, Mr. Brown. You said your broader thought is that there has been violence involving guns and coaches and referees being assaulted on the rise. And I don't know what's up with these parents
time out. Mr. Brown, this is towards you. Is it on the rise or technology is just showing it more? Because I remember back in the day in the 80s, it was a lot, but it was only, I didn't hear about what happened in Franklin Simpson, what happened in Glasgow, because there was no phones.
Yeah.
There was no, unless it went to punching. Yeah, you didn't hear about it. So when people say it's on the rise, I think it's always been there.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that much now. Okay, both of y'all can respond to me. I don't think it's as much now as it used to be, because a lot of people don't respond because they know somebody's going to film them.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Back in the day, it could be 5 incidents you wouldn't hear about, but the worst one.
Yeah, because even Mr. Brown recently, I normally I don't like doing this, but recently there was a soccer game and there was an E-Town coach that pushed the kid of the other team. And we're like, what are you doing?
But I've seen that happen many times in my coaching career.
Really?
I've seen them walk through the line and cuss out a kid, point them in the face, but there was no cell phone.
Yeah, that document it and that you can catch it on.
But now everything is documented. Yeah. So if you put 10 things on TV this weekend, like, why don't we watch the news?
Because it's drama.
It's drama. Because everything is when you watch the news,
no good news. It's all drama.
This happened. This person got killed. This person did this. Yeah. This person did that. So we don't watch the news.
We don't watch news.
Now, back when I was younger, I watched the news because they only talked about a small thing because it wasn't telegraphed throughout the whole nation.
Yeah, he said that's a great position, Coach Bryant. But that's definitely a great point. Yeah, I don't think it's as much as it seems like, because it's such a big deal.
On TV. Let me go to Myers and then throw my what's that called?
Your basket.
Into somebody's basket. Somebody's gonna film it. Now we both know a lot of people throwing their basket into somebody's. I'm just saying. Great show.
You said on the rise because sports draws attention from parents that are different in this day and age. Sports is big business, and we all know that negative attention draws more likes, because now it's all about social media and stuff like that. So anything negative is going to draw. That's the reason why we don't have, there's not 1,000 people looking at this podcast right now, because we don't do drama.
Yeah, and let me tell you the best one. Tyler Perry, Mr. Brown, and other people that's listening, because it's not timing in. He's got a new show coming out. It's about divorce.
Yes.
What is divorce? Drama. What is his other 2 major shows? Drama.
Yeah.
And I was clicking through the channel, and the wives of basketball players or something.
Mm-hmm.
All they do is argue.
Drama.
And
that's what gets that's what gets the ratings. And let's look at, even most of the other sports podcasts that are out there, that are the, Club Shay Shay and all them, they're, they like to talk about drama, or they like calling people out, or they like controversial subjects and stuff like that. And so, so not only are they, big sports people or whatever, but they also bring the drama in there. And so I don't know if this podcast will ever get to that level, because I don't want to be a podcast that is full of drama. Like you're gonna come to Hits and Heels.
But hold up. Like the worst drama is talking about Vince leaving and why.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all we got is asking the question.
And the most drama we're going to talk about is, what not to do as a sports parent. Don't, the stuff not to do. I mean, that's the gist of it. But what you're going to do when you come to this podcast on Hits and Heels is that you're going to hear some intelligent, legendary conversations, some trailblazing conversations from people that you normally are not going to hear from. We're going to highlight people from the Lexington African American Sports Hall of Fame. We're going to have people like all these people have been on the podcast. You're going to hear about Coach Holloway, who has 14 national championships as a Black coach in the SEC that does not get talked about. That he's got 3 in the last seasons. I don't know how he's going to do this season for track, but yeah. And to be is worse. I'm not. So there's a new. Everybody has been talking about a show called The Last Straw with I guess it's a Tyler Perry show, and it's and she's a single mom, and her day is just hell. And it's all the drama and stuff that she goes through as a single mom. And that's all everybody's talking about. Let me tell y'all something about us. We do not have a Netflix account. We do not have a Tubi account. We don't even have an Amazon Prime account.
I don't know what that is.
We have none of those, because only thing we watch, like between only thing I've been watching on TV recently is he'll get mad at me, is I've been watching WNBA.
I don't get mad. What are you talking about?
Well, not mad, but you clown me. He clowns me.
I clown because I'm watching not the 2 best teams or the 4 best teams in the WNBA play, and it's boring. I'm sorry. Unless they're playing one of the top teams in the WNBA. But hold up. Let's go back here for you women jump on me. Okay. Do I watch NBA? Do I watch NBA?
No.
That's a question. Do I watch NBA? No,
you don't.
I'm not watching this bottom low team play. Is boring. Puts me to sleep. Now, if I watch 2 football teams that ain't good, will I watch it? No, I'm not watching it. So it has nothing to do with the WNBA. It is me at my age watching good sports. That's all I want to watch. I watch competitive people. I watch golf. I watch hockey. I watch lacrosse. I watch soccer.
Speaking of tennis,
I watch all of that.
Did Coco Golf just won the?
Then why didn't you say that earlier?
I don't know.
I didn't know Coco won.
Coco won.
What is her real name? That is not what her mama called her.
Ain't no telling. It's probably something crazy, because how.
I don't know. Let me find out what her real name is. I'm just saying.
Come get y'all boy.
I'm just saying.
Come get y'all boy.
It might be. Y'all know I'm right about it. It could be that.
Yeah, he said Mr. Brown agreed. He's the same. If it's not a good game, you're not trying to watch it. I mean, yeah, I totally agree. To the extent, but I watch football because I'm still in the learning phase. So I watch every game that I can because I'm still
okay. She got a simple name.
Corey Dion Golf. So her real name is Corey.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Right. And so she just won which one was it? I don't know. It was one of them.
You just gave me that information.
Yeah, she just won.
So I go back to you, Mr. Brown, and I mean this. You're 100% right on the parents and people. First of all, nobody signs up to be an official, because I am an official football and baseball. I have did basketball, but football and baseball, I officiate. And what that said is I don't want to be touched. I don't want to be cussed at. I think one of my favorite sayings, so I said to someone, and this is when my mom was alive, God rest her soul. And I walked up to a parent. I said, well, only 2 people can yell at me. That is my mom and my wife. One of them I'm yelling back at. It ain't my mom. And I ain't gonna yell back at my mom. Like, I'm not gonna yell back at my mom. Did you ever hear anybody say I yelled it back at my mom? Never. I've never. I just let her win. Let her win. Now I'm gonna yell back at you because
I know you do.
But you'll yell back. But we don't really yell at each other. We really don't, guys.
My girl Stacey Ferguson was on here.
Hey,
okay. So I do have to do an announcement. Pretty soon we're gonna have to transition over to strictly just YouTube because it's been difficult to monetize the YouTube channel. And so when I got some business or whatever counseling or coaching on how to monetize our channel, we're going to have to go to strictly to just YouTube. And the reason why too is because YouTube is no longer keeping live videos, I think longer than like 30 days or something like that. So what happens is if you go back and look at the videos, it shows where they've taken it off or whatever like that. So then I don't have time to go back and delete all of that off of there so it doesn't look good in case somebody wants to go back through. So pretty soon, probably the next episode, 1 or 2 episodes, I'm going to have to make sure, I'm going to have to make sure that you guys go to strictly just to the YouTube channel because we will not be able to go. We're not going to go live on LinkedIn or Facebook or any of the other channels because it's preventing us from gaining the traction that we want to as far as growing the podcast.
Growing the podcast.
Mm-hmm. Now, what else we got? I want to shout out Sean Perkins for winning the Northern Baseball League.
He cheated.
The Cubs.
He cheated.
How did he cheat?
I don't know because he left me as the offensive coordinator.
Okay, he did. Like he left us as the offensive coordinator.
All right. Congratulations, Perk.
Congratulations to Perkins. I'm Eastern Little League. One of our babies, Cash Podrosky, followed in Ty's footsteps and won. Did they win the league? And then he won the Derby.
Now I'm telling you,
run Derby.
I'm telling you, did he win home run Derby?
Yeah.
No, boy, I'm telling you,
that boy is bad.
That boy bad. That boy,
he's bad.
That boy is nice.
Bad. And then I want to shout out, we're SEC, so the SEC women has won the College World Series for softball. Texas won it. And one of the things I want to talk about with Texas winning it is that coach has been to the national championship 8 times and lost, and he finally got a win. And
they beat a stud. And I
the Jari candidate is cold blooded.
Okay, but I said this. Did I not say this? How do you picture 4 straight days?
You said that.
And you get used to the pitching. And one of the Texas players said her pitch is flat. Because it wasn't that she wasn't strong, but I don't understand why you wouldn't just bring her in. I just think that I get it.
And let her close.
She's blessed. They gave her $1 million because she's worth it.
And then she got another $1 million.
And then she's gonna get another $1 million. But what that said is it's sort of like, now I don't know fast pitch softball. I don't know. But all I know is you throw me a fastball and you strike me out, you better throw me something different the second time I come up. That's baseball. Because you ain't gonna strike me out twice on the same pitch.
Right. If
you're at that level. And I mean D1 and I mean Major League.
Right.
High school, yes. Babe Ruth, yes. Little League, yes. Coach pitch, yes, whatever. But I just know for a fact you're not gonna throw me out. You're not gonna strike me out on the same pitch, especially at that level. And I'm not saying I'm that level. I mean in general, the guys who are that level. That's the reason why they'll sit on that one and they'll beat it up. So,
one of our nephews, Jordan Holman, got another offer from Toledo.
All right.
Good stuff, Jordan. Okay. What else? The NBA, who won today? Because they were 1-1 going in today, and then I think OKC was winning. Who you got winning it, Coach? OKC or OKC. You're going? Oh, OKC.
Even though family.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah, I'm going to OKC.
Now.
Yeah.
That would be Indianapolis, Indiana. Yeah.
Okay.
Happy Wednesday, Miss Ferguson.
Stacy. A lot of my women's team. You got OKC too, Stacy. Yes. Oh, Mr. Brown said I do have a grandson that's interested in baseball. He's 7. Any pointers, Coach Cisco?
Who's that? Oh, that's me. Nobody says my
Nobody says Coach Cisco. Your government name.
Government name. Hey, Mr. Brown. What I can tell him is patience. Baseball is a patient game, and you really need to contact me because I'm a fan of you. You know that, and I would love to help him. I would love to help coach him,
develop him. Yeah.
And I don't need nothing.
Yeah.
I would say what I normally say, but my wife gets mad at me. So I'm not gonna say that. So please contact me. We can get together, work on this game, because baseball is a fundamental game. It's the hardest game to play. Everybody, I make a comment. Let me stay on this for 1 second. Okay. Baseball is the hardest game to play because if I can run and jump, I can play football. If I can run and jump and rebound, not just shoot, I can play basketball. Baseball is so much timing, and you have to work on your swing. You got to do a lot on your swing. You got to field, because baseball's out of the 3 major sports, is the only individual team sport because you catch and throw on your own. And the hardest thing about baseball, and I'll give this best example, we'll move on. Your nephew, grandson, which one is it?
His grandson.
Your grandson's batting. He's up to bat, and the umpire calls a strike right here, strike 3. Your grandson sits down on the bench. It's only 1 out. 15 minutes later, he goes out in the field. He's standing there, and that same pitch, that umpire calls a ball.
Yeah.
Your grandson's going to go, what is that?
Yeah.
Football and basketball ain't like that. So that's why it's the hardest game, because it's so mental and it's so slow. And so please contact me if you need me to intervene on anything. I have to charge you. It'll be $1. Okay. And you pay me in 4 quarters. Okay. And that's a joke. You like my wife's gonna let me charge you. That ain't happening. So, but real talk, give me a call and we'll go from there. And I would love to work with you.
Did I tell you I'm getting ready to meet Ted Ginn, Senior?
Okay, he didn't play for the 49ers. Yes, he did.
The senior did or the junior?
The senior did. He played for 1 year.
Oh, I get to meet him pretty soon. He's when I go do my women's clinic in Cleveland, he's going to be the guest speaker.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
he's good. Hey, he makes some. If you Google him, he makes a lot of great.
Stacy got me a hookup.
All right, Miss Ferguson.
Yeah. He said that will break him.
What's that?
He said that will break him. $1.
Yeah, right.
$1.
But really, on a serious note, please contact me. I mean that. And I do it all the time. And because all I want is the babies to do well and have a fair chance in this baseball game.
Okay. Well, we're gonna wrap this up and get out here. I think we touched on just about most of the stuff we talked to. But if you are in Lexington, Kentucky, and you're really into more of the local sports, my suggestion is to check out Big Things Kentucky with Coach Truck and Coach Buford, and they cover more of the local sports. We don't. We just kind of just touch on it. But if you want to get more in depth on that, I would do Big Things Kentucky with Ozon Mitchell and all of them. And all those guys. There's reports that Coach Prime is having medical issues. Yeah, I saw today that he said that he was okay, and he said to thank everybody for all the prayers. And
Ozon's a 49ers fan.
Yes, I know Ozon's a 49ers fan. It's gonna do that, and so the NFL schedule was out, and there was
49ers gonna win 10 games this year. But all those guys gonna watch because they got the weakest schedule in the nation.
Coach Brian said they got the weakest schedule in the nation. Okay, and we didn't even talk about Aaron Rodgers going to the Steelers. That's not the stupidest thing ever. I don't know. So I'm not.
Well, the Steelers were stupid enough
they were stupid not to draft a quarterback or not to keep Justin Fields. They should have kept Justin Fields. But that's all I'm going to say about that. And I don't. Y'all can say what y'all want to say. I'm a Cowboys fan, and that's some JJ stuff. Did they finally tie the knot? And they made him official. Stacy, did they make Aaron Rodgers official? Because I just was like, what in the world? Oh my God. Like, rip. That don't even, it just don't seem like it even matches. I don't get it. I can't wait to see how all this kind of just transpires. I'm actually, the Steelers and the Jets, all they did was just trade quarterbacks. Because Justin was with the Steelers and he went to the Jets, and then Aaron was with the Jets and then he went to the Steelers. So all they did was just switch quarterbacks. So I don't know. We're getting ready to see what that's getting ready to look like. I don't know. I'm gonna go back to Gridiron. Gridiron Beauties did a good job of reminding me about making sure you guys, women's tackle football is going on over the weekend. On the weekends. If you have a women's team close to you, make sure that you go. Shout out to the St. Louis Slam, who slammed us a couple of weeks ago. They're still like the number one team in a pro team, and the Salt Lake Wildcats are the top dogs in the for D2, and so that's what we got right there. But if y'all are in the Atlanta area, come through and holler at your girl. Even if you don't come to the game, just call me. I'll run to the gate. We get us a selfie, get us a hug, and holler back. But come by and holler at your girl this Saturday at 6:00 at Southern Crescent Stadium in Riverdale, Georgia, which is south of Atlanta, north of College Park, something like that. But I think we're staying in College Park, so holler at your girl. We're girl, Stacy, y'all, I can't believe Chubb done went to the Texans. Ooh, child. Anyway, thank you, Mr. Brown. We appreciate that. And Chubb left the Cleveland, and he got signed with them. But we'll come up with all the we'll do a show where we just do all NFL so that we can kind of get caught up with all of the transfer portal stuff and who's in and who's out, and how's our nephew doing in Cleveland. So y'all know, everybody knows that he's our nephew that went to Cleveland, the other Sanders kid, because that was one of the only other controversial subjects that we've ever talked about on Hits and Heels, was him dropping in the draft. But we're done with that and we're going to move on. But hopefully he'll do his thing. But all I've been doing is seeing him do some great things. And we're going to keep praying for his dad so that his medical issues aren't anything. But he was able to tweet today and said that he was doing well, and he was thanking everybody for the well wishes and the blessings. So so we're done for the day, and I can't believe we still did an hour and 45 minutes. Boy, we used to barely do an hour, and I would just cut it off. But one of my mentors was like, just keep it going. Y'all can make it happen. Anyway, so thank y'all all for coming on. Thank you, Stacy. Thank you, Mr. Brown. Oh, you said you really think he'll be QB2? Yeah, until it could be QB2, and that sounds good. But anyway, thank y'all for coming on. Gridiron Beauties, thank you for coming on. Anybody else that's on, thank you. I appreciate y'all. Next week, I promise you, next week I do have a guest lined up, and it's a young lady that is a basketball player. She's a local girl that went away, and I can't wait to bring her on because she's been doing great things. So I do have a guest on next week, so be prepared for that. And I think we're gonna move everything over to YouTube because Facebook is tripping and not and they're deleting like all of the live videos for some reason. So I love y'all. Holla back, and we'll see y'all next week.